Hello and welcome to Simon Says Artwork. In this video I'm going to be doing some portrait drawing using these chunky graphite and charcoal blocks. I'm also going to introduce some of this nice blue graphite block here. These are XL blocks. These are specifically Derwent and I recommend trying them on a large surface. They're great fun, good practice, and they're quite loose and non-specific, which means that you will get marks that you wouldn't be able to plan out with a more slim and precise nib. So, okay, let's get started. Okay, so I actually started off with some charcoal pencils, which I don't often use, and they were quite nice for getting in some more delicate marks. So that was useful for making sure that I could get some semblance of a likeness, and I ended up using them for the portraits instead of the plan, which was to use the larger charcoal and graphite blocks, which can be a little bit unwieldy, but they can really deliver a very nice finish. So instead I thought I'd go for a slightly more accurate beginning to the portrait and also use this pastel white pencil as well for the highlights, which I always think is quite fun and a bit of an experiment until I get any better with the use of it and the pressure. Now at this point it is just basically going for the shadow, the mid-tone and the highlights, and then I introduce, as you can see, this blue graphite block, which I think is really nice, and it is on one of the rare occasions when I will smudge, and it's because the difference between the actual pigment being smudged in and then drawing on top of it gives it a level of depth and layering which is hard to achieve by just using it without smudging it in. So it is something where I'll give myself a pass. Also for the lipstick, I thought I would use a coloured pencil, which I have, which is blue on one end and red on the other, and that's what I'm using there for the lipstick. Okay, so for the first portrait, what I found was that I would make the marks and try to correct a lot of the mistakes that I'd be making along the way. That was tricky, but then the introduction of the blue graphite block was quite a nice touch. So I'm going to continue with that for the second pose and see how we get on. Now this one's a side profile, as you can see, and I have to make an adjustment, which is always difficult because I've already got in the eye and the eyebrow and I like how it looks, but then I pull it back, I redraw it, because after doing a quick measurement I realized that I haven't gone far enough in and I would have made the head too wide. So making that adjustment was something where I just had to be honest with what I was seeing and trying to reflect that in the image. Then I continued just as I did with the first portrait by adding the highlights and then focusing on some midtones and shadows as well, but using this pastel pencil far more because I did have a larger reflection of light on that plane of the face. Now these charcoal pencils are lovely for adding this dark tone. They're really great to get a nice black darkness into the picture. And then obviously introducing here the graphite block, the lovely blue, and the same for the dress. And just using the same technique again, but trying to get a bit of a balance. Using the pastel pencil on top of the blue was quite a nice and interesting technique, and it was again a bit of an experiment because I've never done that before. So I was quite chuffed with how it did have that effect of just lightening the blue in a quite delicate way. And you can see the difference between the first portrait and the second pose, where I used the pastel pencil on top of the blue, and I do prefer the second way. And I used again the red for the lipstick. So that's the pose done. Okay, that is the image done, and it was a lot of fun. It's very challenging, and I must admit I do need more practice to get a better likeness for the model, but I still think that what you come out with is an interesting image, and as far as drawing goes, this is definitely very different from what I usually achieve with pencils or pens or any other type of medium. So I would recommend trying this out. Have a look for XL blocks of either charcoal or graphite or both, just as I have here, and see how you get on. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.